Hello and welcome to an all-new Marvelcast Explosion Network's hub of all things Marvel, a place to talk about everything MCU and beyond, from Avengers and Defenders to Mrs. K and New You technologies. My name is Ashley Hobley, your podcast host without fear, and joining me today is the astonishing Dylan Blight.
Hello, happy to be here to talk about death.
Yep, there certainly was death in this episode. Today we're talking about
I meant the character. Why are you...
Which version of death?
The one that Deadpool marries.
Well, we're not going to do that. Today we're going to talk about the latest episode of Daredevil Born Again, Episode 8, Isle of Joy. So if you haven't watched it, come back later. This will do. Please be aware we'll be freely discussing anything and everything about plot themes in any of the episodes, so if you haven't watched it, come back later. With that said, let's jump into Isle of Joy, directed by Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, written by Jesse Wigutow and Dario. Scardapane. Dylan, what do you think of this latest episode? The penultimate episode, some would say, of Daredevil Born Again.
Some would say. I really enjoyed it. It felt a bit more, I don't know, prestige, paced better. I guess slowing it down a bit for that, especially for the last 20 minutes or whatever at the ball, just felt like it was getting a bit more time to let tensions rise, and didn't feel like it was in as much as a rush as we have been in recent episodes. And even the bullseye stuff felt, it didn't feel like super rushed. They allowed the slow element of him walking up to a truck. It wasn't like blink, he's there next second. So there's just...
We'll say, interestingly, I heard that this was the first episode since the premiere episode that's been completely done by the new creative team.
Yeah,
so everything else they were trying to shoehorn stuff in from stuff they'd already shot.
Repackaged stuff to work around. Well, it makes sense, I guess, between the first episode and then here. That's like the connecting.
Which makes you think Bullseye was not meant to be in this series at all.
Yeah, wild, hey?
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, very happy with it. I was, much better than the last few weeks, I think.
Yeah, another really strong episode. Lots of really good character developments. With a lot of the side characters that we've come to know over the season, and then getting to see Bullseye again, bringing him back, not in a way that I was expecting, and then kind of it's been revealed, why the events of the opening episode happened, which would be interesting to dive into. So kicking things off, we opened with Fisk revealing to Vanessa his imprisonment of Adam, and giving her the option to free him, only for her to shoot him and then affirm her affection for Fisk. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about this storyline and how it played out?
I mean, it's just that, I guess if you was to say there's one element of like a rushed part to this, it would probably be that, because it's the it's them wrapping up their marital troubles based on the secrets and whatever else they've been keeping in the background. I mean, that's all, that is definitely the one part where you're like, it seems to, there's little to no discussion, or didn't seem to be enough remorse or whatever. I don't know. It just, with how back forth, even last week we're like, oh, we're talking about, did she plan it and all this sort of stuff, and
was
then
she trying to assassinate him?
And then the very start of this episode, it was just planned, and I don't know, it felt a little bit too nicely wrapped up a bit. That,
I mean, yeah, it seems like she's back to being fully committed to Wilson, and I mean, she knows which side the bread is buttered on, I guess, and she wants to be on the winning side. But that may not be the outcome that we get towards the end of this episode, when other secrets are revealed. But yeah, poor Adam, stuck in that cage, toyed with for several months, then the woman he had something for just shoots him several times, you know, which is interesting because she killed somebody else in the show in the original series, right? I can't remember.
I cannot remember either.
I feel like she did kill somebody before.
I feel like if he was,
because that's what he was.
Remember,
that was what Matt was using against him. And she killed somebody, and she was, you know, if you don't go back to jail, I'm going to tell them she murdered so and so. Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, not anyway, but we then also have Matt and Heather's relationship very strange. She's obviously still recovering from her, assault last week from Muse, and she is just straight up anti anyone who wears a mask. Muse, Daredevil, they're on the same level. Terrible people, which seems to be a little bit extreme.
Mm-hmm.
As Matt points out, Daredevil was there to save her, and Muse was there trying to kill her. But no, they're the same.
Yeah, when it's like it's similar to any time someone tried to rob me and then the cop showed up and I was like,
yeah, you're both terrible.
Yeah, which could be true.
So yeah, Matt's not taking that well, and it only gets worse when Heather gets invited to the Black and White Mayor's Gala at the end of the episode, which would be a big social event where they all wear black ties and shit. So, Matt is of the belief that they only hired Heather because she's close to Matt, which I don't get the impression that's true. It was just coincidence.
I don't know. I just it feels odd for him. Like, it would feel almost odd for
of all the therapists in all of New York City.
Yeah,
I guess.
like, yeah, that's the
So I don't know. Their relationship seems very strained. What else? We've got Daniel gets promoted to Deputy Mayor of Communications.
Yep.
For his role in the Anti-Vigilante Task Force Public Success. Because Fisk wants to cancel all these meetings and bask in the glow of their success. And he seems to bask in it for like 5 minutes. So really, they could have just done the rest of the stuff they were going to do that day.
I do that sometimes. I think I've got all these things to do, but what I really need to do is like wash up some dishes. So let's clear the entire day, clear out the entire schedule, and that'll be the day. I could only do. It may only take 5 minutes, but that is.
I need the whole day just in case.
Just in case, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Turns out their desk was LaGuardia's. Very important to know. How do we feel about Sheila's feelings about Daniel getting promoted, I guess, above her? She's
racist, I think, but
I don't think that's the motivation behind it. But,
okay. Never know.
You do never know. So we go to the law office where Matt's partner, Kirsten, lets him know. No, earlier in the episode, it's revealed that Dex is being moved out of, solitary confinement or, high priority prisoners and put into General Pop, which, as pointed out, he's a former FBI agent, not someone you want amongst general population in prison generally, historically, throughout history. So Kirsten lets Matt know that Dex wants to talk to him, hoping to get a deal, I guess, and only wants to talk to him, so he can get out of Gen Pop, which riles him up, I guess, causing him to go off at like a shady client who definitely seems like rolled a bunch of school teachers out of a bunch of money.
Yeah, I honestly blinked for a second, and I was like, "Is this someone I'm supposed to care about?" And then
is this someone a case we've been following for a while? No,
and he just starts yelling at him about whatever else, and I'm like, oh, "Okay, no, this is just a
This is a brand new dude.
Yeah, this is a new dude. But for a split second, I was like, have I missed something?
No. So to calm down, Matt goes and visits Josie's, which of course we saw destroyed in the first episode, but seems to have been slightly put back together. Josie's still there. The only person there. Very lucky that she was just tending the bar for no reason, since they're not open that day.
I just like how she's just straight up talk shit about homeless people.
Yeah.
Come inside, Matt. Stand outside like a fucking hobo.
Yeah. I don't think hobos get umbrellas,
Mm.
And how would Matt know what a hobo look like?
It's true.
Yeah, so, Cherry comes along later and kind of tries to console or, talk to Matt about, what's going on. And, trying to figure out why Dex, he's of the belief that Fisk hired Dex to go kill Foggy. Because it all comes back to Fisk, doesn't it?
Well, it makes sense when he's...
Even when and even he believes it even more when Josie says, he, I assume, was drinking the, alcohol that they, reserve for when they win a case. When we see him in the opening episode.
Mm.
Because it was celebrating early because he thought he was definitely going to have a win. In some way.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was
I don't
killed.
remember what his case was. Do you remember what he was talking about?
No, I don't.
He was waiting for that call. He got that call from that guy and he was freaking out, and then whatever was going on.
No, it was never made clear exactly what the case is. So, which is weird because he's a defense attorney. It's not like he's a public prosecutor.
Unless he thought he had
So he was going to get somebody off who I guess they did not want to get off or to reveal something. You know what I mean?
Mrs. Fisk didn't, I guess.
Yes, that is the implication as we go on. Matt goes to see Poindexter in prison. He tries to talk him into, telling him why he killed Foggy. He generally does not want to talk and says he'll let him know when he's outside of prison. Unlikely to happen. So, Matt does what he usually does and smashes his face a bunch of times in the table.
Now, I got to be honest. I was confused for a moment because when he says thanks and then when he breaks out shortly, I was like, did he do that on purpose? Did he not? But then I guess he didn't. He didn't
I mean, I think Matt... There's two ways to decide it. If Matt was just wanting to inflict pain on Bullseye. It's totally rational. This is a guy who killed your friend. We know that for certain. Or he wanted to injure him so he would to be taken out of Gen Pop for a little while he got medically treated. I don't think Matt believed what would happen later, in which Bullseye removed a tooth from his mouth and used that to take out a doctor, free himself, and then take out a security guard.
It's definitely a pretty good system.
I mean, I don't think Matt playing that far ahead.
I don't know how you can spit that hard.
He's really good at baseball.
I don't get it.
He's a pitcher.
I still don't get it.
That's because there's no correlation between the two things.
Right. I still don't get it. But
it was sarcasm.
Right. But I said, oh.
Yeah. Because his origin story in the Daredevil, he was a pitcher. And that's why he can throw things really good. Apparently that transferred over to his mouth muscles.
Yep.
Or it was all the cybernetics they put in his spine. Allowed him to spit that tooth real good.
Yeah. I've got you now.
Or that doctor is weak.
I mean, it's crazy to be able to spit a tooth right just for,
Yep. So, Bullseye out. Free man, it seems. So then, we cut to the big, ball where Fisk is making deals. He's been the Godfather behind closed doors. He blackmails old swordsman.
He wants money for his...
He wants money for the port project. He blackmails old swordsman into, donating in case, his vigilante task force goes and takes him out. There was that other lady whose partner seemed to have disappeared.
Mm.
You know, the stuck-up lady from the previous other time. And yeah, it seems like Fist's task force is
Doing whatever the fuck they
got
want.
free reign, doing whatever the fuck they want. They come across a reporter who's not meant to be there, and despite the police commissioner being right there,
Mm-hmm.
they stick his hand into an air fryer. No, into a
Wouldn't he? At first he
frying.
says,
The
the
second time I got it
commissioner
wrong.
says,
They stick
"I'll
him
have
into a
you-"
vat of oil, boiling
Commissioner's
oil.
like, "I'll have you done for assault or
Assault,
whatever he
yeah.
says." And he's like, "That's not assault.
Mm.
This is no excessive force or some shit."
So he fries his hand.
Mm. I tell you
Yeah.
what, after watching
Novocaine?
Novocaine, that's all I thought about watching that. So.
Yeah, it's like, wow, what are the odds?
Well,
They both look like very crispy, you know?
Mm.
But then, yeah, the commissioner can't do anything because the rest of the task force suddenly appears in that hallway. And he kind of has no say. So Daniel has a conversation with Sheila and says, you know, I always worried about how our relationship would go, and now I know.
Mm.
She was always going to fuck him over and get him fired. And now he's in a position of power, can do whatever he wants. Unfortunately, he doesn't realize he's being played by Bibi this entire time. And she is like, just going along to get the scoops, get the stories, and as she reveals to the police commissioner later on, she does write stories under a different name. She doesn't only do the BB report or under BB. And she knew that Wilson Fisk is the main suspect in her uncle's murder, which is the main reason she is trying to get behind enemy lines, I guess, in his mayoral.
I liked the turn when she was like having that deep conversation, just turning around and being like, "Sha,"
Yeah,
or whatever.
You know, being the party girl that Daniel is.
And the best part is we just fully believe that guy's a fucking that Daniel's dumb enough to be like, yeah, this hot babe really wants me for me.
Yeah, even though she already screwed you over once.
Yeah.
You know? Pretty blatantly, yeah. So the police commissioner is like, hey, I've got a bunch of files I can give you. So it'll be interesting. Do you think the task force is going to be taken out by the end of next week's episode?
No. Task force has to go through next season, right? As does Fisk. Like we're not expecting this story to wrap up now, are we?
I mean, maybe it's revealed that the task force is all shitty people, but he believes he can power through. He does like a certain other politician at the moment and just does whatever he wants, despite the public outcry. Potentially. Yeah, so Matt finally shows up at this ball, despite, Heather getting very upset that he hasn't turned up for a long time.
Dog ate his homework.
Dog ate his homework. He's, even though he's not really paying attention to her and he's trying to eavesdrop as much as possible around around the ball, even though he has incredible hearing, like any man, he can't do two things at once. Can't listen to two things at once.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember. When did the penny actually drop for Matt? That it was
her.
Vanessa.
What was said?
I think it's revealed that Poindexter got out of prison.
Yeah, Poindexter's real. Something I can't remember exactly what it said, but he's basically says like something happens, and then something goes. He wasn't there. Like,
I think it's like maybe, I've got something to tell you, or something. Vanessa says.
Yeah. Yes, she says.
Sort of
she after the old mate comes over and whispers to them that Poindexter's got out, and then she says, "I've got something to tell you." And of course, Fisk says, "Not here," because he knows that Daredevil can hear what they're talking about. And then I think it's literally that makes him click onto it and go, "Oh, he wasn't in town. She was running everything then."
Yes,
and that's what makes him click on.
That's what makes him click.
Which really, in retrospect.
How did we not realize? I guess we never kind of. At no point did we really question why Bullseye killed Foggy. We just assumed, like everybody else, that it was just revenge.
It was he was just wanted to,
get something
on Daredevil.
Yeah. So, Yeah, so then we get this interesting dance sequence where Matt bumps into the mayor and the first lady of New York, and it just starts dancing with her in front of a bunch of people.
I don't have a problem with it. I think if you're invited to an event like that,
you can dance with whoever you want.
I think it's yeah.
He's
not come off the street, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I understand, but it's still very funny in the context of this massive ceremony. But yeah, Matt is questioning Vanessa while they're dancing. Fisk is definitely putting the idea that Matt is keeping a bunch of secrets into Heather's head. And
you know, keep a dark secret. Some say, it could eat away at you.
Yeah. You know, Matt seems like a guy who really liked to wear red.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed in his wardrobe, it's suits and this weird red spandex.
He may be Catholic, but there's a bit of devil in him.
Walk without his cane.
Yeah. And yeah, then it turns out Poindexter up in the balcony with a rifle and takes a shot at Fisk. It seems like he was the person who was aiming at.
Seems like he was aiming at Fisk, yeah. Which I guess is because either he believes he was getting the orders from him, but it was actually coming from her, or it's because he's pissed off that Fisk was trying to kill him.
That could also be a reason. Or it could be, I'm going to kill the one you love the most.
Yeah, I guess that could be.
There's a bunch of reasons. But Matt senses the bullet coming and dives in front of Fisk, taking the bullet himself. And it looks like, crazy twist at the end of the season. Matt Murdock is dead.
Alternatively, he may just need shoulder surgery.
Oh, okay. That's a possibility.
Just so we have another option to him being dead,
Yeah, and that's kind of where we leave it, which is kind of like a really exciting cliffhanger, but also how are we going to wrap everything up? You would assume. My guess is next week he's dead. He forces himself to get into the Daredevil suit and goes after Bullseye again. But then maybe has to face the task force. But then maybe also not has to face the task force because he feels his life.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting conundrum for Fisk, isn't it? Does he? Do we get to a moment eventually where it's like he's about to kill him later or something? Maybe not this season, maybe the end of next season, and like he lets him live because he's like, we're even now.
Yeah, maybe.
Get one of those classic moments.
Do you feel like Vanessa's going to get a comeuppance next week?
Oh hell no.
No.
And also, I wouldn't want it to. I know. I don't really know. Like next week, I think it's just going to be a bit of an action-packed episode. Obviously, they'll probably want to end the. This was.
Do you think we'll at least find out why Bullseye was sent after Foggy? What was the case?
Yeah, I feel like that's where we're leading this season to. It's not ending the Fisk Mayer storyline. It's
because then you can explain how they're going to bring Foggy back next year.
Well, yeah,
next season, flashbacks of what the case was he was working on.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to discuss or theorize about or mention about this episode?
Watching Fisk dance is quite funny.
That's what you took away from this.
He's
a big dude.
He's a big dude dancing like that, and it was something special, I thought.
All right. Let us know what you thought of this latest episode of Daredevil Born Again, and what are your theories for next week's finale. Let us know by finding us on Blue Sky at ExplosionNetwork.com or find us on social media at ExplosionPod. If you want to help us out here at an all-new Marvelcast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars or just tell people about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at ExplosionNetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you watch the finale of Daredevil Born Again and join us next time for another all-new Marvelcast.
They all die and then.
Maybe.
Wild
Season 2, they're all
predictions.
ghosts.
Yeah.
Season 2, they all have to fight their way out of hell to come back to the living.
It's crazy. They're copying
With
the
Mephisto.
John Wick 4 plot. Fuck off with your Mephisto. I'm sick of it. No more Mephisto.